we're gonna, hey guys, we're gonna try this again. I tried to share the video of Donald Trump with his recent interview with 60 Minutes and Lesley Stahl. For some reason, I wasn't able to hear it. I wasn't sure if you guys were hearing it. So I decided to just stop it and just start all over again. So let's see how this goes this time.
I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for fairness.
You know that you're right. But you're also
No. Well, I'm to be fair. You don't have right that much. We don't have right. Are you ready?
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
I start.
Let's do a second. Close the door. Hurry up a little bit.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay, you ready? So we have the pandemic. On your watch, we've had racial strife, we've had reunion. Why do you want this job? Why do you want to be president?
Because we've done a great job and it's not.
Yeah, and when I finish, this country will be in a position like it hasn't been maybe time. The economy is already well
When I finish this country will be
people are going to bring it back.
like it hasn't been maybe time.
They're going to take away your Second Amendment. They're going to do things that nobody would even believe. It's radical. There's never been anything like it. No,
Let me
we
ask
are
you,
we are positioned like never before. We're going to have a fantastic year next year.
let me ask you what you think your, the biggest domestic priority is for you right now.
Well,
Or next year.
ultimately, let me, and I'll tell you, it was happening. We created the greatest economy in the history of our country. And the other side
You
was
know
happening.
that's not true.
It is totally true. Best unemployment numbers, best employment numbers, 160 million people working, highest stock market price. You wouldn't say that to Biden, what you just said to me. If he had it, you would never say that to Biden. We had the best stock market price ever, and we're getting close to that price again. We had the best. Everything was the best. Our companies were doing better than they've ever done before. You cannot even think about talking about
Well,
that.
I'm not gonna fact check. You know.
Well, you have to
I'm
fact
not
check
gonna
me.
do that.
I mean, excuse me,
But-
the stock market was at its highest. The unemployment numbers for African Americans, for Asian Americans, for Hispanic Americans, for everybody were the best. Every number, virtually every number was the best. We had the best economy ever. And what was happening is things were coming
Well, I
together.
asked you what your single biggest
Well, no,
priority was.
I'm going to say that.
Oh.
And the other side was starting to call, let's get together. There was going to be unity. And then we got hit with the plague, and we had to do it again. And we closed it up, and I saved millions of lives we saved. And now the economy is growing again at record numbers, 11.4 million people employed in the last short
But
period
what's
of
the
time.
priority? I mean, those are all the good things. What do
The
you
priority
want?
now is to get back to normal, get back to where we were, to have the economy rage and be great with jobs and everybody be happy. And that's where we're going, and that's where we're heading.
And who is our biggest foreign adversary?
I would say China, they're an adversary, they're a competitor, they're a foe in many ways, but they're an adversary. I think what happened was disgraceful, should never have happened, they should never have allowed this plague to get out of China and go throughout the world, 188 countries, should never have happened.
So there, so
Lesley, 1 second, please.
What's wrong?
The flag is wobbling, I think, because it's under a vent perhaps behind you. His hair's coming down a little bit.
It doesn't look nice blowing.
no, it's distracting.
Hello?
I can see it.
Yes, from the arrow.
I'm going with or without you guys.
Let's go.
Okay. At this stage, 4 years ago, you were behind in the polls, you won out, and you pulled it out. But this time, you have kind of a double migrant. You have unemployment claims going up, you have COVID cases going up. I mean, it's like the gods have suddenly decided to conspire against
I
you.
don't think so, no, I think we've done a great job with COVID.
Yeah,
and we've
but the
hired-
numbers are going up.
Excuse me, 11.4 million people, why? Because the last one was a little bit off. And this is
No.
without,
Sir, excuse me, cases are up in about 40 states.
okay, you know why cases are up also? Because we do more testing. If we didn't do testing, cases would be way
Yeah,
down.
but why are you saying they're not up? You know, Pete, you're saying things that people
I
can
don't know what I'm
see.
saying to you, Lesley, is the following. We do more testing than any country in the world by far. Second is India with 1.5 billion people. We do more testing. If we did half the testing, we'd have half the cases. If we did no testing, like many countries, we would have very few cases. Because we do so much testing, the fake news media loves to say cases are up. The fact is, we've done a very, very good job.
Cases are up?
We have done, that's right, because we're doing so much testing.
Cases, will you at least say cases are up?
Yes, cases are up because we are doing tremendous testing and we're finding where there's a problem. Testing is a good thing, but it's also very misleading.
When you're out there saying we've turned the corner, this thing is disappearing, and
That's right, we
people
have turned
can
the corner.
see,
We have turned the
people
corner.
can see cases going up all over in the Midwest, in the Mountain West. Record numbers of
We have
cases in
turned the
some
corner.
states.
We understand the disease. We understand the elderly and we're taking care of them at a level like nobody's ever taken care of the elderly, especially the elderly with diabetes problems, heart problems. We are taking care of them like nobody's ever taken care of them. We also understand youth, 99.9%. As an example, Barron had it and it was gone in no time. It was just like he had it, it was gone. Hardly knew he even had it. So we are taking care of our people. But we've done a great job with the ventilators, with the equipment, with stocking governors stock. We've made a lot of governors very good that shouldn't look good, and that's okay with me.
Let me ask you something about suburban living.
Yeah.
You said the other day,
Oh, I didn't say that. You know, that's so misleading. I say jokingly, suburban women, you should love me because I'm giving you security and I got rid of the worst regulation. See, the way you said that
Yeah.
is why people think of you and everyone else as fake news. I said kiddingly, suburban women, you should love me. I got rid of a regulation
You
that
said,
would bring low income into suburbia, that is destroying, that would destroy suburbia. And I said that in a joking way. The way you have it is like, oh, like I'm begging. I'm kidding. Play it. And I'm kidding. That is such a misleading question, Leslie.
but you're behind in the polls.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I really doubt it.
One of the
I'm
things,
saving suburbia. He's going to destroy suburbia. He's got a regulation, which I terminated, that he would put back, and even worse, that will destroy, that will bring low-income housing projects into suburbia. And women understand that, and they've really learned about it over the last 2-3 weeks. I terminated the worst regulation you could possibly have. It's gone. And suburban women appreciate it. They want security, they want safety. Look, I've been endorsed by almost every police department, almost every law enforcement group in the country. He's been endorsed by almost nobody. Suburban women want security.
show that you're behind with them. And one of the reasons, let me
You're not
say
looking
this,
at recent polls.
one of the reasons is that they don't feel you're being upfront about the pandemic. And when you
So-
say there are fewer, we're rounding the corner, and
We
you
are
tell
rounding
our
the corner.
board that
We are
you
rounding.
deliberately like to downplay this.
We are rounding the
Are
corner.
you
We're rounding the
doing
corner well. We're doing well. We understand the disease. I saved millions of people. 2.2 million people were supposed to die. You go back and you look at your models, 2.2 million people. We saved tremendous numbers of people. Plus, I closed it very early from China, heavily infected, and even from Europe, heavily infected. We've done a good job. We've done maybe a great job. What we haven't done a good job on is convincing people like you, because you're really quite impossible to convince, but that's okay. And the economy now is coming back, and it's coming back very strongly. And people see that, Leslie.
There are more unemployment claims, and the economy has kind of
Leslie, we just picked up 11.4 million jobs. It's the largest number in the history of our country in a short period of time.
I mean, how could
Listen,
you ignore that?
we just picked up 11.4 million jobs. It's in a short period of time. It's the largest number in the history of our country.
But are you denying that the unemployment claims have gone up? Is that
What
what
I'm
you're
saying is,
happened?
we got hit by something, not my fault, not your fault. We got hit from something that came out of China. I got stuck with it. And let me tell you, before it happened, we were doing so, and now we're going to be doing, and we are doing good. But
Well,
look at as an example, last week, a few days ago, Gallup did a poll. 50% of the people said that they're better off now during a pandemic than we're doing Obama and Biden. 56%. It was a record number, right?
yes, but I want to know if you're what, ignoring the fact that there are unemployment claims?
No, I don't ignore
Okay,
it.
but what are you saying about
What I'm saying is that we got hit with somebody. It's not our fault. We
it?
got hit.
But what
And we've done a good job, not a good job, we've done a great job. Remember that number, a very important number. 56% say they're happier now than they were 4 years ago under Biden and Obama, right? I'll put his name first. Biden and Obama. And they didn't have a pandemic, although Biden did have a big problem with H1N1, which he says in reverse, with the H1N1 swine flu. And it was a disaster. And his own chief of staff said it was a total disaster. They didn't know what they were doing.
Can we go back 1 second to the pandemic? Because you called Dr. Fauci and other health experts. And I'm
Dr.
wondering,
Fauci,
I'm
where did I
wondering
go?
if you
Where did I
think,
go?
I'm wondering if you
Where did I
think
go up in it?
you called the lead. I wonder if you
Well, he's been
think-
wrong a lot. I like him, but he's
I
been wrong a
I
lot.
wonder if you think that masks don't work.
Well,
That's
Dr.
what
Fauci
you're saying.
originally said, it's a very
But what
complex
do you
subject.
say? You say
Let me
masks
just tell you,
don't
you
work.
mentioned that Dr. Fauci said, don't wear masks. Then he said, wear them.
What do you
I
think?
say that I feel masks possibly work. But certainly you want to stay away, certain socially distance, etc. But I would say a mask works. And I have nothing against masks. And I tell people to wear masks. I have
Well,
no
tell me
problem.
then about these rallies you've been having.
A lot of people are wearing
People-
masks and they're
A lot of people
outside.
aren't. I'm watching all these people jammed together, and I'm seeing most of them without masks. And I'm wondering the message that you're sending with these pictures coming across.
Take a look.
the-
Yesterday, we were in Arizona, record-setting rallies, numbers of people like nobody's seen before. Many,
You
many
used to have
masks. I
bigger
watched.
rallies. You
What?
used to have bigger rallies.
No, these are bigger than I ever
I
had.
don't want to figure out
You
that.
know,
Tell me
you're
about
so
the mask
negative,
wearing.
you're so negative. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had. You just come in here with that negative attitude. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had. We are having numbers like we've never.
Tell me about the
There's
mask.
more, you made a statement. There's more enthusiasm right now for us than we ever had before, ever. And you will see that in a short period of time.
But what about the masks?
A lot of people are wearing masks. I mean, I looked yesterday, a lot of people were, and it's outdoor. They want it outdoor, and we're doing it
But
outdoor.
I can't believe after what happened in the Rose Garden, after the announcement, with all the people getting sick, that you are not being strongly encouraging out wearing masks at your
I tell
rallies.
people to wear
But you
masks.
don't.
Leslie, we hand out thousands of
But
masks.
you
and
look out and
everything.
you're not wearing them. And you don't say, please put on
Well,
your
and you've
mask.
been looking yesterday, take a look yesterday in Arizona. Everybody behind me.
But
had a
I'm
mask.
looking at other places. I'm to Wisconsin, which is a hot spot.
Right, right. A lot of people
A
had
lot
masks,
of people.
and it was
without masks.
outside.
And you don't get up there and say, look, come on.
Go
I
ahead,
don't want you to
what's your
get
next
sick.
question? We're outside, the rallies are bigger than they've ever been. There's more enthusiasm than we've ever had. There has never been anything like what you're witnessing now, and you'll see that soon.
Okay, but I'm asking about masks, not about the size of your rallies. I'm asking why
You
you want to say.
commented on the size of the
I know, but
rally. You said
I'm
they're not
asking-
as big as they used to be, and I'm telling you, they're much bigger.
Okay, but I'm asking you now about the masks. Why aren't you getting up there and saying, I have it, I don't want you to get it, so please
Leslie,
put your mask on?
We hand out masks to everybody that comes to the rally. We tell them to wear the masks.
You don't, they love you.
Oh, I don't know, Leslie. I
If
tell
they
them to wear
heard you
them.
say it,
I have no problem. No
they
problem.
love you. They
Thanks.
pay
Go ahead.
anything you say.
I hope. Go ahead.
Okay, this is important. Okay, I'll ask you another health question, okay? You promised that there was gonna be a new health package, healthcare plan.
Yeah.
You said that it was gonna be great, you said it's ready, it's gonna be
It will
ready, it's all ready. It'll be here in 2 weeks, it's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before, and of course, we haven't seen it. So why didn't you do the health plan?
It is developed. It is fully developed. It's going to be announced very soon when we see what happens with Obamacare, which is not good. And when we see what happens with Obamacare.
But if the Supreme Court,
And it will be much less expensive than Obamacare, which is a disaster. And it will take care of people with pre-existing conditions.
but your plan was to repeal and replace, and if the Supreme Court finishes Obamacare, there will be all these people stranded.
No,
because there's no
we will
replacement.
make a deal and we will have a great healthcare plan,
But you keep
with
saying that.
less expensive, and a much better plan.
Why haven't we seen it?
You have seen it. I've been putting out pieces all over the place, and we actually have plans. And we have 180 million people right now have a plan. And you haven't been watching. You haven't been watching.
But what about the pre-existing, people with pre-existing conditions? If the Supreme
Are
Court.
protected. Will be totally protected.
How?
They'll be protected,
How?
Leslie. I mean, the people with
How?
pre-existing conditions are going to be
How?
protected as they are now.
How?
In any plan we do,
But
they will be protected. Leslie, people with pre-existing conditions, we always protect them, always.
But if the Supreme Court ends this, Obamacare,
We'll have this happens. It's got a ways to go. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think it'll end. I hope that they end. It'll be so good if they
and
end.
if they end.
Because we will come up with a plan, which will
Will,
be yeah, we will.
but you said it would all.
We have large sections of it already done. And we've already come up with plans. Take a look at your various secretaries, various plans that we've already come up with. And also, a large part of this country has private health insurance,
Yes.
180 million people. And under that, Biden, he doesn't have any clue, but under that, 180 million people will lose their health care. And they'll go to socialized medicine, and that's not going to be acceptable.
Okay.
180 million people, Leslie, will go to socialized medicine. It will not be accepted.
And if the Affordable Care Act is determined.
We're going to have new, and it's very good.
And so people with pre-existing.
We've come up
conditions-
with many plans, Leslie, and they're already in existence. I'll tell you what, after this interview, I will show you short term, longer term, I'll show you different plans. We've come up with many plans. And we cut the individual mandate out. The individual mandate is gone. That was the worst part of Obamacare, that's gone.
Okay, all of that, I grant you all of that. But if there's a plan, a replacement plan.
Right.
And the Supreme Court says that Obamacare goes away, people with pre-existing conditions will be stranded. And that's just a fact.
It's wrong. It's
No.
wrong. A new plan will happen.
But
And we
will,
won't do anything, will and is. We won't do anything and no plan unless we have pre-existing conditions covered. And the individual mandate, which you don't want to mention, was terminated. It was terminated. Individual mandate terminated. That is the biggest thing that's happened. And that actually makes Obamacare not Obamacare. Because under that, you would pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. We got it terminated through the legislature, signed, done. That means Obamacare is no longer Obamacare. We got rid of the most important element of Obamacare, and it was the worst element of Obamacare that nobody wanted, nobody liked. So Obamacare essentially was terminated as we know it. Now we have the darkness of Obamacare.
Well, part of it.
We managed it well.
Pre-existing.
Leslie, we've managed it. You know, I had a choice to make. When we got rid of the individual mandate, nobody believed we could do that, and I did it. Right? I had a choice to make. Do I manage the remainder of whatever's left of this whole thing called Obamacare, which is no good? Do I manage it well or manage it badly? If I manage it well, politically, maybe that's not
Well, then
good.
do you want to
I
leave it?
decided to manage it well.
Do you want to leave it? I mean,
No, I don't want to leave it. I want to see what
pre-existing
happens. Here's what happens.
coverage. Why
We may
not
be
leave it?
stuck with it if we lose in the Supreme Court, in which case we're wasting a lot of words. If we win, we will come up with and we will do that, come up with a much better healthcare, less money, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions.
Are you gonna say that you didn't say this? Because I saw you say this.
Go ahead. Oh, you're really trying to. I wish you would interview Joe Biden like you interview me. It would be so good. You know what?
You
The-
like this,
the-
I thought. I thought you
I don't
liked
mind it. I don't mind it. But when I watch him walk out of a store, he's in the midst of a school. His family is corrupt. Okay, he's corrupt. He's a corrupt politician, and he's walking with the ice cream. And the question the media asks him, "What kind of ice cream? What flavor ice cream do you have?" And he's in the midst of a scandal,
He's not.
and he's taking. Of course he is.
Come
Of
on.
course he is.
You
See
know, we
that?
had the Senate.
You're like-
Republicans.
You're like big tech. You're protecting him. Anyone is, except for
Yeah, but you're taking something that was investigated
Leslie,
by a
let me ask
Republican
you.
committee.
You think it's
and-
okay for the mayor of Moscow's wife to give him millions and millions of dollars, $3.5 million, to give his family? Do you think it's okay for Hunter Biden to say that we're giving the big guy 10% of this massive amount of money they're taking in? Do you think it's okay for all of these horrible things that you've seen, where they're getting hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, where China gives them $1.5 billion to manage the family, $1.5 billion, and then he's supposed to negotiate? Let me tell you, it's the second biggest scandal. The
So
biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
there's no real evidence of
Of
that.
course there is. It's
No.
all of us. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes. And we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We
But
put
let me tell
on
you,
things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Can't verify.
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie. And you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay,
And you're out
so
there.
why don't you get back to your interview and let's go.
All right. So you said in the briefing room, nobody likes me. I can only be my personality.
I said that jokingly. That is sarcastic. Nobody likes me. It must be my personality. I say it all the time. Nobody likes me. It must be my personality. I say it all the time, Leslie.
Do you think that your tweets and your name calling are turning people off?
No, I think I would be here if I didn't have social media because the media is,
The name
Corrupt.
call. Let's
in my
talk
opinion,
about-
the media is corrupt. But,
You know,
but
you
the
told-
media is fake. And frankly, if I didn't have social media, I'd have no way of getting out my voice.
You know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake in the
Yeah.
media?
Yeah,
You said to me, I said that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative about me, no one will believe
I
you.
don't have to discredit you.
And that's what you
You've
told
discredited yourself.
me. You told me that.
Leslie, you've discredited yourself. When you say that you're not going to cover Biden, you're going to ask him what flavor ice cream he has, okay?
That's not
Instead
me.
of why did Hunter get $3.5 million from Moscow? Instead of why is an energy company paying your son $183,000 a month or whatever they're paying him, and he has no experience in energy? You know, you discredit yourself. I don't have to discredit you.
So this story about Hunter and his laptop, some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about
And
that.
you're
I just know it's a
making-
laptop
and
and they
you're-
haven't.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
I don't know about the
This
two
is the
gentlemen you
most
mentioned.
important issue in the country
It's a
right
very
now.
important issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, who's accepted money and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
Yeah, I think that's
things
an
have-
Okay, we had a brief moment.
It's
With difficulty, let me rewind it back for you guys just a little bit.
The name
Corrupt.
call.
In my opinion, the media is corrupt.
Okay,
But,
You know,
but
you
the
told-
media is fake. And frankly, if I didn't have social media, I'd have no way of getting out my voice.
You know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake media?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe
I
you.
don't have to discredit you.
And that's what you
You've
told me.
discredited yourself.
You told me that.
Leslie, you've discredited yourself. When you say that you're not gonna cover Biden, you're gonna ask him what flavor ice cream he has, okay? Instead of, why did Hunter get $3.5 million from Moscow? Instead, why is an energy company paying your son $183,000 a month or whatever they're paying him? And he has no experience in energy. You know, you discredit yourself. I don't have to discredit you.
So this story about Hunter and his laptop, some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about
And
that. I
you're
just know it's a
making-
laptop
and
and they
you're-
haven't.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
I don't know about the two
This is the
gentlemen you
most
mentioned.
important issue in the country.
It's a
right
very
now.
important issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, accepted money from China and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
Yeah, I think
things
that's
have
an
been
important issue.
investigated and
It's
discredited.
incredible the way you can try and say this and sit there and look me in the eye and say it.
A
He
Republican
accepted
committee.
money, his family, from Russia, from Ukraine, from China, and from other places.
And a
His
Republican-
brother, who didn't have experience, became a big builder. Iraq experience. Take a look at what's going on, Leslie. And then you say how that shouldn't be discussed.
I'm saying,
It's the biggest scandal out there, Leslie.
and you think it's the biggest issue to campaign on.
I think it's one of the biggest scandals I've ever seen, and you don't cover it.
Because,
You want to talk about,
well, because it can't be verified.
you want to talk
I'm
about
telling you.
insignificant things.
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me,
We
they found the
cannot-
laptop, Leslie,
Can't
Leslie,
be verified.
what can't be verified?
The laptop,
Why is it that? Even the family has, the family on the laptop. He's gone into hiding. For 5 days, he's gone into hiding.
he's preparing for your debate.
Oh, it's taken him 5 days to prepare? I doubt it. Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead.
So let's get back to the name calling, okay? And whether you think it's turning people off.
No, I
Because
think, look, it is
you
what
call
it is.
Biden stupid
Where are we sitting there? Where are we sitting?
in the Roosevelt
Of what?
of the White House.
That's right. How did I get here? How did I get here? We're in the White
But what are you
House.
saying? Oh, but by name calling, you think that
No,
that's
not the name calling, by, doing the right thing. And we have a great record. I mean, we got hit by a pandemic, wasn't my fault. But was it his fault? Honestly,
The reason-
we're in the White House. The press is very biased, very, very biased. And I'm not talking
You're
about
trying to
anyone. I'm talking
discredit
about,
us.
no,
Yes,
no, I'm not. You're discrediting yourself, Leslie.
you are.
Leslie, you're discrediting yourself. When you don't go after Biden, with the corruption in the Biden family,
After Biden, you've asked me 5.
when
6,
you
7
don't, when
times.
you don't go after what happened in the Russia witch hunt, which turned out to be a total phony with no collusion whatsoever. When you don't do that, you discredit yourself. The press, is highly discredited right now. You do know that. You discredit.
Half the country loves you, but the other half doesn't. And I'm wondering why you don't.
They were starting to, Leslie, when the economy was prior to the plague, they were starting to really we were all starting to like each other. It was coming together. there was going to be a lot of,
I heard you say that before, and I don't think we were coming
and I'm just
together.
telling you,
I think we've had
people
disunity,
were calling me,
unfortunately.
people were calling me about coming together. And then we got hit by the plague, and now we're rebuilding it again, and it's going well.
And do you think that you do anything to unify the country?
I do. I think I do unify the country. I think I will unify the country. It's called success. When our country becomes,
What
again,
about the rabid partisanship in the country? Do you take any responsibility for the country fight against itself? Do you feel that?
I'd like not to, but, perhaps everybody has to take a little responsibility for it. But when people put out phony witch hunts, when they spy on your campaign, you have to fight back. And if you don't fight back, you're not sitting here very long. You go back home. You go back home to mommy.
I've been listening to you, I don't know how long we've been here. And it's just attack.
I don't think so. I mean, look, it's not attack.
It is.
It's defense. It's defense
No,
against attacks.
No, you've been attacked.
It's defense against attacks. I don't think so. I mean, I don't view it that way. I'm defending myself, and I'm defending the institution of the presidency. Very important thing.
Can you?
Hi, Mike. You having a good time, Mike? Watching? You know Mike, right? Our great vice president.
I do.
You think she'd ask questions like this of,
Wow, yes. You
I don't
looked at
think
all
so.
that.
You think she'd ask questions like this of Joe? I don't think so.
Can you characterize your supporters? Can you?
People that love our country. And people that don't want to see the stores get looted and burned down, and people that don't want to see riots, and they don't want to see anarchists. Yeah, I think I can. These are people that love our country,
You make,
and they don't like to see,
but you don't see.
they don't like to see policemen shot and not be able to defend themselves. They don't like to see rioting in the middle of Fifth Avenue or in the middle of other streets in London or other places. And they like it when the president gets the endorsement of virtually every police group and, frankly, almost everybody having to do with law and order, positive law and order. But you know what they are? They're people that love our country more than anything else, and they like to see our country thrive.
But do you think that when you hold rallies and encourage people to say, lock her up?
I don't encourage them, they say it.
And you.
Hillary Clinton,
You
let
don't
me
say
just say,
don't do
Hillary
that.
Clinton she deleted 33,000 emails after she got a subpoena from the United States.
Why
They're legal. And why somebody doesn't do something about
Why
it,
is this still an issue?
I think it's an
They're
issue.
not gonna vote
To
on
me, it's
that.
an issue.
She ran last time.
Excuse me, when they say lock up, it's not me. They say it, it
You
ends up
encourage it.
being, I encourage it.
Yes.
No, if I mention her name about something, they go crazy.
Well, what about the governor of Michigan who had this plot that people were gonna, I think.
I don't know anything
Your
about the
supporter.
plot, but I can tell you
I'm
this.
telling you about the
It was
plot.
our Justice Department that is the one that's helping her.
Yeah.
My Justice Department, all of that.
Yeah.
It was our Justice Department that's helping her. And, people they're not liking her so much because she's got everybody locked down. Now, we just won a Supreme Court where it's unconstitutional. The only one she doesn't have locked down is her husband, who went sailing and did things that he wasn't supposed to be doing.
You are very powerful. And the people who love you with passion. And if you go after somebody the way you've been going after her,
I
they
haven't
take it
gone
to
after her.
heart, and then there are plots and threats, and the
I haven't
same
gone
with
after
Dr.
her.
You did.
I helped her. It was the Justice Department
You
that's
criticized
helping
her.
her. Oh, I do criticize her, yeah.
Well,
I
that's
think the
go
way
after
she
her.
locked down Michigan is a disgrace.
But
The
when
way
you-
she closed churches in Michigan is a disgrace. I think it's disgraceful what she's done. I do.
You want to lock
And
her
by the
up.
way, of course not. That's other governors also. They happen to be Democrats, and they've closed up their states, and they're causing a lot of problems with these lockdowns. Suicide, drugs, alcohol, A lot of bad things are happening, and they should open up their states carefully, but they should open.
When you say open up, you don't say carefully, you say open up. You don't have
Oh, I say
an
carefully.
aggressive program to say open up with masks, open up with social distancing.
The governors run their states.
No,
We
but
help
the
them a lot,
message
but the
is
governors
you.
run their states.
You are,
And the governors have to do what they have to do.
but you,
But when they lock down Michigan, she's doing a tremendous disservice.
well, what about
Same thing
you
with
saying-
Pennsylvania, same thing with North Carolina.
What about
These
you
are
saying-
Democrat governors, and they're doing a great disservice.
What about you saying, let's open up, let's
Well,
open
I
up.
say,
No,
I'm not against masks at all.
but you're not
I
for
say,
that.
sure, I am, wear them. But I also say socially distance. I say all the things. But you know what? Well, look, with you, nothing I said would be any good listening.
That's not
Okay?
true, Mr.
That's okay.
President.
But in the
That's not
meantime,
true.
we're having a record comeback, because if you look, we're the fastest growing nation in the world after this pandemic, by far. And we sunk less than any other nation, relatively speaking. And we're coming back very strong, very, very strong.
So you don't want to lock up Governor Whitmer, but you want
When
to
did I
lock
lock her up? I didn't say,
Biden's, you want to
wait a
lock
minute,
up.
when did I say lock her up? When did I say lock up the governor? I didn't say lock up the governor.
All right, but you.
Why would I lock her up? No, but why did you say you don't want to lock the governor? Of course I don't want to lock her up. Why would I lock her up?
Because you were in front of a rally of people saying it, encouraging it.
I never said it, Leslie. I never said lock
So
up
you
the
don't want to
governor.
lock up the governor.
Leslie, it's such a vicious thing you just said. I never said lock up the governor of Michigan. I would never say that.
Well, did you-
Why would I say that?
Well,
Because
what about,
she's doing lockdowns.
you want to lock up the
No, I don't
Bidens?
want to lock him up. But we looked at,
Obama, you want to lock up Obama?
no, I don't want to lock him up, but he spied on my campaign.
Do you want to lock up?
Obama and Biden spied on my campaign. Do you know what that is? Do you know what they did? Do you know how horrible it is what they did?
But
You
it's
don't,
never
you
been
don't get it.
verified.
It's been totally verified,
No,
Leslie.
I'm sorry.
You'll find out, but it's been totally verified.
You've all but said that Attorney General should go after President Obama. Now, if you lose, you will be here, okay? You lose. How would you feel if then President Biden went after you?
Oh, he probably will, because I think he's a very dishonest guy. And he probably will look for something, probably will, we'll see. But you know what? Attorney General Barr has been very nice, that's all I can tell you. He's been very nice.
You were
He's been very respectful.
criticized him.
No, he didn't criticize him, different personality. They're very lucky. They're very lucky because the evidence is overwhelming. And Attorney General Barr is a great gentleman. It's a great gentleman. They are very lucky. Now, I can't tell you what's going to happen. I don't know. Because I purposely like to have it. You know what? I don't like to get involved. I can if I want. I don't like to get involved. But I think they've been very, very lucky. Attorney General Barr is a gentleman.
You know, I didn't want to have this kind of thing.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Well, then you brought up a lot of subjects that
Well, I said
were
I'm going to ask
inappropriately
you
brought
tough
up.
questions.
They were inappropriately brought up right from the beginning. No, your first question was, this is going to be tough questions. Well,
It
when you
is.
said your first statement
You're
was,
president. Don't you
Excuse me,
think you
no,
should
no,
be
no.
accountable to the
Listen,
American
your
people?
first statement to me, it's going to be tough questions. Well, I don't mind that. But when you set up the interview, you didn't say that. You said, oh, let's have a lovely interview. And here's what I do say.
So what?
You don't ask Joe Biden. I saw your interview with Joe, the interview with
I
Joe
never
Biden.
did a joke.
It was the interview, 60 Minutes. I see Joe Biden giving softball after softball. I've seen all of his interviews. He's never been asked a question that's hard.
Okay, but forget him for a minute.
No, but you
You're
start with
president.
me.
You're president. and-
Excuse me, Leslie, you started with me. Your first statement was, are you ready for tough questions?
I did.
That's no way to talk. No way to talk.
Leslie, one second, this is the first warning, I think we have 5 minutes until we have the vice president step in, is that about right?
Well, I think we have enough. Really, we have enough of
So I
that.
think we're ready for the vice president now.
I think we have enough of an interview here. Okay, that's enough. Let's go. That's good. Wait for 2 seconds, okay? Thanks.
Okay, I wasn't going to jump in and say something, but I had to. I had to say something to this because, first of all, I voted for Donald Trump. So the Democrats do not have all the black women votes locked down. They do not. There are plenty of us that are voting for Donald Trump as well. Now, what I have to say about this interview is in listening to Lesley Stahl speak, she was constantly contradicting and arguing against everything he said. In an interview, you ask a question and you let them answer. You ask a question and you let them answer. You don't ask a question, let them answer, and then interrupt them and contradict and no, that's not true. You don't do that. In every interview that I've seen with Donald Trump, it's always the same thing. He's always being attacked in his interviews with the reporters. They're not just interviewing him, they're attacking him. Every interview is a debate. And I've watched the interviews with Joe Biden. They're not the same. He's given a platform to speak. He's asked a question and then he's given a platform to speak. And usually he's allowed to say whatever he wants against Donald Trump. He's allowed to say whatever he wants against his administration without correction, without interruption, and without being stopped. And see, I've been watching this election and see what the media did wrong. The reason why they're losing, the reason why the Democrats are losing a lot of black voters is because they went so hard after Donald Trump. You have to understand the average black person knows who Donald Trump is. We may not know his personality, but we know who he is. He's a famous person from TV. We followed him before he became president. We know about Donald Trump. Everybody know about Donald Trump. If you listen to rap music, you couldn't listen to rap music in any generation without hearing Donald Trump's name in a rap song. Rappers want to be like Donald. So black people know a little bit more about Donald Trump than we're giving credit for. So when we kept hearing, when I personally kept hearing all the stuff about him, and I'm thinking about what I've seen of him, I've seen him with all the different, black athletes and the black entertainers, and I've seen all these different things prior to him coming to the office. So when they're trying to play him out as being this big racist, I'm like, wait a minute, let me go and check this out myself. So I did some looking up in some investigation of my own. And I'm not saying Donald Trump is perfect because he does have some things that he shouldn't say. I felt like he shouldn't have got involved with the NFL thing. I feel like he shouldn't have got involved in that because as the president, he has a responsibility to respect and uphold the rights of all citizens, whether he agree with their political stance or not. He may not agree with what those athletes were doing. He may not agree with how they're, but he has, as the president of the United States, not speaking as Donald Trump, but as the president of the United States, he has a responsibility to respect and uphold their right to protest and free speech. I think that was a big thing that cost Donald Trump with the black vote. And I think that was a big thing that made him look racist. Now, I don't think it was necessarily racist, but at the same point, you put the shoe on, you got to deal with what you get as a result of it. But I don't think he hates black people at all, or if I did, I wouldn't have gave him my vote. But I feel like he's just made a lot of communication errors, is what I call them, between himself and the black community. When he says things like, the country is not systemically racist or this country wasn't founded on hate, you can't say certain things like that and expect the black community to not feel enraged because of that. Because in 1776, when this country was founded, black people were slaves here. So you can't say that this country was not founded on racism and slavery and oppression, because it was. Because when it was founded, you had a whole entire race of people that was enslaved, oppressed, and discriminated against. So you can't say that this country wasn't founded on something when history and facts prove that that's not true. And I understand that. I think he's doing it in a way because he wants to create unity. He wants to get rid of hate. But you can't do it by ignoring and dismissing what happened that got us to this point. That is what, and I don't want to say it like white people, but that's what people have been doing forever. They've been dismissing it, and you can't dismiss it. Now, don't get me wrong. As far as my black people is concerned, they get mad with me because I don't feel like we should live in that past. I don't feel like every white person is racist because of the racist foundation of this country and the country being founded on oppression and slavery. So I understand his point of view, but being black, I understand how black people feel. Like, I appreciated him getting rid of critical race theory because I feel like critical race theory was very racist in itself. And I don't believe in black superiority no more than I believe in white superiority. I do believe that there's distinct differences among races. Of course there are. There's going to be differences between different racial demographics. Of course there are. But for him to get rid of critical race theory and then turn around and replace it with a program named 1776 and then say he wants to create a spirit of unity, he contradicted himself. Because if you wanted to create a spirit of unity, if you wanted to create a spirit of an all-inclusive welcoming society, then you don't name the historical program that you're sponsoring after a year where black people were still slaves in this country. You don't name it 1776. I don't care if that's when the country was founded. You don't name the program 1776. Because guess what? If you wanted to represent freedom, and if you wanted to represent equality and unity, then you can't name it after a date where black people were still enslaved and in chains. See, you see, I'm getting upset even talking about that because to me, that was his racial insensitivity. That is his inability to put himself in the shoes of everybody. And I know he might think the majority of his base and the majority of his voters are white. He might think the majority of his people, the people that support him, are okay with the history as it is and as it's been taught. But that's not true. And as a president, you don't run speaking just to the people that you think are supporting you. You run speaking to all American people. That's how you pull people together and you pull people in. And at that time, if he was thinking about the fact of black people were still in chains in 1776, he wouldn't have never, ever named his historical teachings or whatever they want to call it, curriculum or whatever, his patriotic course, 1776. He would have never named it that because he would have thought about black people still being in chains at that time. But needless to say, the press is being totally hard on him. They're being unfair. He's being debated at every stage and at every point. But at some point in time, Donald Trump does need to accept some responsibility and blame for the race relations between him and black people. I'm not talking about between cops and black people because he ain't had nothing to do with that. He didn't hire none of them police officers. He didn't hire Derek Chauvin. He didn't hire nobody that killed anybody. He had nothing to do with that. Because if you want to get real when it comes to that, that's Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the one who passed the crime bills. Joe Biden is the one who instilled the racist ideology that the police operate on today through his many crime bills that he has passed. So if you want to look to which one of the presidential candidates is more responsible for the racial injustice and the racial protests that are going on today, you would have to blame that on Joe Biden. You're going to have to blame that. You can't blame it on Donald Trump. You can't blame what's going on. You can't blame police brutality. You can't blame none of that stuff on Donald Trump. If you're going to blame that on any one of these presidential candidates, it has to be Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden is the one who passed the crime laws. Joe Biden is the one that set up the unfair judicial system and the unfair policing policies and ideologies. That is what we're fighting against. We're not fighting against anything that Donald Trump said. We're fighting against Joe Biden's 47 years in politics. That's what we're fighting against. That's what we're protesting out there in the streets. So if you're going to be fair, and see, that's what bothers me about the media. If this was any other president running, of course Joe Biden's racial record would be all over the news. Of course his racist statements that he's made this year would be all over the news. Why would they not be? But because they're burying it in order to focus it all on this man, that's an issue for me. And see, I don't trust Joe Biden because he won't stand up and face what he's done. Even though in that town hall he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I participated." No, you didn't just participate in that. You helped author those bills. You helped promote and push those bills into law. So don't try to downplay your participation in it now. Okay? So I ain't got enough time. I got to get off here because I got to go to a meeting for my own property. But the whole thing of it is that the media is being completely unfair to Donald Trump. And if there's anything that I can say to any Black person that is listening to this, is that you have to stop listening to everything being fed to you through the media. These people are lying through their teeth. If you look up some of the stuff that they're reporting to you and do your own research, you will realize that we are being sold a sham. I don't know why they're trying to push Joe Biden in the office so hard that they is literally trying to tear this man down. It's ridiculous. And then on top of it, Christians, let me speak to y'all for a minute, because I know there's a lot of evangelicals that support Donald Trump, but let me speak to the Black Christians for a minute. How are you supporting Joe Biden and calling yourself a Christian? How are you supporting the legalization of full-term abortions and supporting Joe Biden? How are you supporting federal funding of abortions and transgender surgeries and supporting Joe Biden and call yourself a Christian? How are you Christian pastors not speaking out against Joe Biden, but yet you're speaking out trying to urge your congregation to vote? What's wrong with y'all? What Bible are you looking at? What Bible are you reading? Because if you're judging Donald Trump just merely on the fact that he's racist, supposedly in your eyes, then you will be judging Joe Biden just as equally as being a racist. So everybody's operating on hate. And as the body of Christ and as children of God, we don't operate on hate. We operate on the word of God. And based on the word of God, the candidate that we would be choosing if we were basing our decision on our status as Christians and not as Black, because our status as Christians should overrule our status as Black, we would be supporting Donald Trump wholeheartedly. So my Black people, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. My Black Christians, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all got God y'all got to answer to. Do we want what we want so bad that we're willing to allow full-term and partial birth and after-birth abortions to become legal? Are we willing to allow the Hyde Act to be repealed? Because you know Joe Biden has promised Parenthood with their $45 million donation that he's going to repeal the Hyde Act, which prevents federal funding of abortion. We need to educate yourselves. Why is CNN all over that? Why is that not being reported? Think, people. I got to get out of here. I got a meeting. I got to think. Y'all better think. I'm going to be on here later on tonight after this debate, which I know is going to be another ambush. Let's just pray Donald Trump maintains his cool and be quiet and let Joe Biden sink himself. Okay, y'all? In Jesus' name, amen. Good night. Good day.